Hey there. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of Lucas. Yes, that Lucas, the guy behind one of the most influential books in the Bible, the Gospel of Luke, and its sequel, the Acts of the Apostles. But who was he really? Was he just a guy with a quill and some parchment? Or was there more to this legendary figure? Spoiler alert. His story is way more intriguing than you might think. So, grab a seat and let's unravel the life of Lucas, the man who became a voice for the voiceless and a bridge between cultures. Picture this. It's the 1st century, somewhere in the bustling Roman Empire. Lucas isn't your typical Jewish scholar or a fisherman turned apostle. Nope, he's a Gentile, a Greek, to be exact. That's right. He's an outsider in a story dominated by Jewish figures. But don't let that fool you. Lucas is sharp, educated, and deeply curious about the world around him. He's a doctor by trade, yep, a physician, which means he's got a keen eye for detail and a heart full of compassion. Imagine him walking through the crowded streets of Antioch, his sandals dusty from travel, his mind buzzing with questions about life, faith, and the meaning of it all. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Lucas wasn't one of the original disciples who walked with Jesus. He wasn't there for the Sermon on the Mount or the miracle of the loaves and fishes. But what he lacked in first-hand experience, he made up for in dedication. He became a close companion of the Apostle Paul. Yeah, that Paul, the guy who went from persecuting Christians to becoming one of their biggest advocates. Together, they traveled across the Roman Empire, spreading the message of Jesus and facing all kinds of crazy challenges. Shipwrecks, prison time, angry mobs, you name it, they lived through it. But Lucas wasn't just a sidekick. Oh no, he had his own mission. While Paul was out there preaching and debating, Lucas was quietly observing, listening, and taking notes. He had this burning desire to document the life of Jesus and the early church in a way that would resonate with people like him, Gentiles, outsiders, people who didn't grow up with the Jewish scriptures. And so, he set out to write what would become the Gospel of Luke, a meticulously researched account of Jesus' life, teachings, and miracles. Now, let's talk about his writing style for a second. Lucas wasn't just jotting down facts. He was crafting a narrative. He had this incredible ability to highlight the humanity of Jesus, his compassion for the poor, his love for the outcasts, his willingness to challenge the status quo. Lucas gave us some of the most iconic parables, like the Good Samaritan and the Prodigal Son. These weren't just stories. They were revolutionary ideas about love, forgiveness, and inclusion. And let's not forget his emphasis on women. In a time when women were often overlooked, Lucas made sure to highlight their roles in Jesus' ministry. Mary, Elizabeth, Mary Magdalene, they all got their due in his gospel. But Lucas didn't stop there. After finishing his gospel, he went on to write the Acts of the Apostles, which is basically the sequel to the Jesus story. It's all about how the early church grew, how the message of Jesus spread like wildfire, and how people from all walks of life came together to form this radical new community. It's got drama, miracles, and even a little bit of humor, like when Paul gets bitten by a snake and just shakes it off like it's no big deal. Through it all, Lucas remains a steady, thoughtful voice, reminding us that faith isn't just about big moments. It's about everyday acts of courage and kindness. So, what made Lucas so iconic? Was it his writing? Sure, that's part of it. But it was also his heart. He was a bridge builder, someone who could take a story rooted in Jewish tradition and make it accessible to the wider world. He was a healer, not just in the medical sense, but in the way he brought people together through his words. And he was a storyteller, one of the greatest the world has ever known. Lucas' legacy lives on, not just in the pages of the Bible, but in the countless lives that have been touched by his work. He showed us that you don't have to be in the spotlight to make a difference. Sometimes, the quiet observers, the diligent researchers, and the compassionate listeners are the ones who change the world. To truly appreciate Lucas, we need to understand the world he lived in. The Roman Empire was a melting pot of cultures, religions, and ideas. It was a time of great tension between the Jewish people and their Roman rulers, and between traditional Jewish beliefs and the emerging Christian movement. Lucas navigated this complex landscape with grace and wisdom. His writings reflect a deep understanding of both Jewish and Gentile perspectives, making him a unique voice in the early church. Lucas' Gospel and the Acts of the Apostles have had a profound impact on Christianity and Western civilization. His emphasis on social justice, compassion, and inclusivity continues to inspire people today. Whether you're reading about the Good Samaritan or the early church's communal living, Lucas' message is clear. Faith is about love and action. In a world that often feels divided, Lucas' story is a reminder of the power of empathy and understanding. He didn't let cultural or religious differences define him. Instead, he used his unique perspective to bring people together. That's a lesson we could all use today. And that's the story of Lucas, a Greek doctor, a faithful companion, and a masterful storyteller who gave us a glimpse into the heart of Jesus and the birth of the early church. If you enjoyed this deep dive into his life, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more epic historical tales. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present. See you soon.